Hi, I'm Parker, and I use they, them pronouns.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I use he, him pronouns. And welcome to
The Graphic Novel
Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Graphic Novel Podcast. This is a show where we discuss graphic novels, zines, mini comics, and we throw in a bit of real life.
We're often talking about relationships in one way, shape, or form. Sometimes we're talking about queer issues. Sometimes we talk about race issues. Sometimes we talk about death.
Each and every Friday, almost every Friday, we have a new episode. If you like the show, we'd love it if you gave us 5 stars on your favorite platform or Apple Podcasts. If you have time to give us a review, Spotify, YouTube, any place that you can find our show, we'd really appreciate that.
That's the best way to help our show grow, is to give it those 5 stars, review us. That's how people find us. Also, make sure that you share us with your friends. Just give that little retweet or share on social media. Or just, word of mouth. Talk to your friends about us. Make sure that you subscribe so that every week when this podcast goes live with a new episode, it will show up in your feed and we'll sit there waiting for you to listen.
That's right. You can interact with us on Twitter, Facebook, or Insta. And if you visit us at anchor.fm/graphic novel podcast, you can leave us a voice message.
We may play it on the air.
All right. And welcome to 2021.
It is 2021.
This is our second show of the year. And how's it going, Parker?
The year is going.
The year is going. We're just waiting for the
21st.
The 20th at noon.
Oh, 20th. Why do I think 21st?
I don't know, but it's the 20th. By the 21st, he will be hopefully in jail. But
wait, the inauguration's 21st, right?
Maybe. He takes office on the 20th.
Why do I think 21st?
21st is like solstice and all those things. That's probably why.
Huh. Weird.
Anyhow, yeah, it's hopefully 2021 will be a good year. Lots of good stuff happening, like vaccines.
What'd you say?
Vaccines.
Oh, okay.
Exact time. But yeah. Looking forward to that. So a lot of good stuff. We got a couple good books today. Got a little bit of news. So
a little bit of Monica.
And a little bit of
Erica.
Yep. All right. Where is my
Rita
news? There it is. All right. Several stories. First, from the Hollywood Reporter, we've got from what is that month? December 18th. The best
What
comics.
is the month?
I was looking at the numbers and I could not remember what the month was.
What number is 12?
The best comics of 2020. There's a few. We haven't read any of these that they chose. Don't Go Out With Me by Rosemary Valero O'Connell. We've read something that she's been. Oh, Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me.
Oh, is that one? Okay.
That was her huge one.
But
one that she won a ton of awards for.
Was her name hyphenated then?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember it being hyphenated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good. I knew there was a reason I was drawn to the art.
Yeah. This was kickstarted in 2019 and published in 2020.
There's a lot of books being kickstarted. It's pretty cool.
It's a good way for people that aren't in Comicsgate to get a chance to get your book out. We purchased one too.
Because it's so expensive, and sometimes if you don't have an agent, it's impossible to get your foot in anywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Kickstarter makes a big difference if you can get that word out.
Yeah, because a lot of times comics, unlike a novel that works on a Kindle, comics a lot of times are better in print that somebody can hold. You could read them on Comixology, and you could read web comics and stuff, but a lot of times, even some web comics that are popular become printed because people want to hold it in their hands and read the whole thing.
Yeah. Whenever you come out with at least some of the artists that I follow, they have these pages that they put out, sometimes one page at a time, full color and everything. And they'll be like, "Hey, when are you printing it?" It's like, you realize this costs money for me to print it, right?
Yeah, we just purchased God Puncher, that Lane had written, and he was hoping that he was Kickstarter. It was one of those things where he was hoping that people would actually want to buy it, and it did well. He was able to fund it. He had extra copies, so we ordered one. He's got really funky art. It's cool.
When was that? I feel like that was
a while back that we
Okay.
talked about it.
Okay.
I think I did a preview or a review of it.
Oh, okay.
He
Okay.
had
That's
sent us some issues, but now he got like the first 5 or 6 issues
Awesome.
compiled, and we got that.
Cool.
So Hollywood Reporter, another book, The Loneliness of the Long Distance Cartoonist by Adrian Tamine. This book is already getting tons of positive feedback, and it's probably going to end up on a lot of 2021 best of lists, and it's probably going to win awards this year too.
A lifetime of awkwardness. I mean, I'm immediately that's the first sentence there in the little quip about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm already drawn in. I'm like, yep, I want this book.
It's a memoir of embarrassing incidents spanning his life as a cartoonist. So it looks good. It's from Drawn and Quarterly. Definitely going to look into that one.
For sure.
Another one, The Magic Fish by Tron Lee. What is it? How do you say that?
Nguyen.
I knew the name is from Diane on BoJack.
Well, somebody it's a writer or something, I can't remember, but I see the name Nguyen pop up in the credits, so I know that it's somebody's name that's part of the staff.
Yeah.
And they at the beginning of the show, I don't know why we're going into this, but at the beginning of the show, they talk about they make fun of how the name's impossible to say.
Oh yeah,
but it's really not that hard.
The G is silent. That's really what it is. The G is silent. Nguyen.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yep. So Nguyen's debut graphic novel is a fairy tale about a gay Vietnamese teen struggling.
And that's probably the Americanized. Sorry, that's probably the Americanized pronunciation. So that may not even be how he says it, right? Like it's possible he pronounces it differently.
Could be. All right. So let's see. We got a couple other stories here. We've got the
struggling to find connection to his family through the tales they share. The artwork on this, it draws me into just seeing, it's just the cover thing, but or cover image. But I mean, any queer stories I'm always drawn to, so I guess I can't really say much about that. But that's really, I feel like that's how a lot of queer people feel too. Like their stories don't fit their families.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I really look forward to that book.
Forbes, December 18th, same day. 2020 best graphic novels of 2020. That's weird that they came out the same day.
Is it?
It is weird.
It's probably like a Wednesday or a Friday.
It probably was something like that. I think it was a Friday because the 17th was a Thursday.
Okay.
Let's see. There's one, The Adoption, and this person's choices. These are in alphabetical order. I'm not going to read them all, but The Adoption by Zidru, drawn by Arno Monin.
What is that about? Like being adopted?
Cantankerous retiree Gabriel doesn't approve of his son and daughter-in-law's decision to adopt an orphan Peruvian girl, but eventually the little tyke melts his heart.
Oh, okay. It's not quite what I thought it was going to be. I've read. I listened to a podcast recently about adoption and how it's a trauma.
Oh yeah. Here's an interesting one called Dracula Motherfucker. Written by Alex DeCampi, drawn by Erica Henderson. Image Comics.
You wonder how well books like that will
restore. The motherfucker is one letter is blocked out, or 2 letters are blocked out. But
okay. That makes a difference.
Explosive Dayglow artwork dazzles in this retelling of Dracula set in L.A. in the 1970s. So that's interesting. Oh, Jean Luen Yang's Dragon Hoops. There's another one that was pretty big from first, second, and Macmillan. Oh, here we go. Kent State.
There we go.
That was our first book of this year. Without a doubt, one of the best books of the year.
Oh, for sure.
Adrian Tamine, again, Loneliness.
Oh, a different.
Yep.
Wow.
Long Distance.
When did that one come out? He's pumping them out this year.
Same book.
Oh, sorry.
Book, yes.
Okay. Wait, what is it called again?
Loneliness of the Long Distance Cartoonist.
Oh, okay.
Maids by Katie Skelly, which we reviewed.
Oh, we read that. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. Anything else good? There's probably
that was a good book. I like that book.
Yeah.
That was Fantagraphics, right?
It was. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And the last thing in the news this week, the Joe Schuster Awards. A few months back, we had announced some of the creators who were nominated, and now these are the awards finalists for work done in 2019.
Oh, 2019.
Yeah, the work was done in 2019. They actually had a tie for artists, but nobody that we've read. Ken Lashley.
Really?
Ken Lashley was one of the finalists. Ken Lashley was somebody I think I've talked about on the show before. Back in the 90s, when I did Comics TV, we met. We met Ken. Oops, we met Ken at a show in Toronto, and he invited us to his house, and we went and hung out at his house for a while.
Not you and I, yes.
No, me and my friend Steve. Let's see, best writer.
Are you enjoying the chorus here?
Yeah, best writer Mariko Tamaki for Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me.
Ah, nice.
And Harley Quinn Breaking Glass. So
yeah, we don't read those.
No, we don't read those. But Laura Dean we read, and yeah, they've won her and Rosemary. Rosemary have won a ton of awards for that book.
Yes.
That book came up big.
It was great. I loved it. I'm not surprised at all, honestly.
Yep. Let's see what else we've got. Anything good? Nope. I don't think there's any people that we've read that won awards, but congratulations to everybody that did win. And
I mean, it's a far bigger honor to be named by us, right?
Without a doubt, most people. Oh, Canadian comic creator Hall of Fame, Gregory Gallant.
Wait, there's a comic book creator Hall of Fame?
Yep. 2 creators will be inducted into the Canadian Comic Book Creator Hall of Fame in 2020. Gregory,
did you know that was something that existed?
I believe I read about it because Gregory Gallant himself had discussed it.
Oh.
You know him better as Seth.
Oh.
I love his stuff. You bought me a bunch of his books.
I didn't know that his name was out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you should have given it to me a long time ago when it was probably 10
you
years
can't
ago.
find it by Gregory Gallant.
Yeah, but I could have found something. No, there's nothing linking his name in his work.
He goes by Seth.
When I looked up Seth, nothing came up.
Yeah, it's tough.
Everything was old that you already had.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very cool. Yeah, maybe we'll read one of his books at some point. Anyhow,
you can.
I like Seth. I like all his work. The problem is Joe, Matt, and
are all straight.
Wait,
white,
who's the other one?
Cis men. I don't want to name him. I'm not putting that name.
The other guy that we read on one of our very first shows. It was actually a 2-parter. Yeah, the 3 of them were friends in Toronto in the 80s, 90s.
Are we really going to give time to this? It's really not important.
And at least 2 of them have turned out to be problematic.
That's putting it nicely.
So I guess we can go with that. All right.
But you still want to support.
I like Seth. He does good work, and there's nothing saying that he...
I'm sorry. Looks like a duck. Sounds like a duck.
It doesn't say that he's a duck, though. Nothing says he's a duck. All right. This week, we're going with 2 books. Quack, quack. By Fantagraphics artist, creator, Julia Gfrorer. First book we're going to talk about is called what?
Vision.
And what's that book about?
I could tell you, but that would mean that I had it prepared and was ready to go. No, here it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Tell me her name again.
Gfrorer.
Julia Gfrorer explores lust, grief, and the human need for connection in this story of a 19th century spinster and the haunted mirror that offers an escape from her frustrated life. In Gfrorer's thin, careworn lines, her debased and unnerving depictions of the supernatural, and her achingly vulnerable characters, she exposes the emotions that boil beneath the surface of everyday life and the terrible pressure society exerts to keep them hidden. Surrender to the quiet power of her storytelling, which greets you on every page like the embrace of a lover for the grave.
Julia Gfrorer was born in 1982 in Concord, New Hampshire. now lives on Long Island. Her comics have appeared in Kramer's Ergo, Cicada Magazine, Arthur Magazine, Study Group Magazine, Black Eye Thickness, and Best American Comics. Her graphic novels Laid Waste and Black is the Color are available from Fantagraphics books. Her last name rhymes with despair, and her heart is black as jet. All right.
Wow.
Okay, Vision. First of all, thank you to Fantagraphics for sending us a preview copy of that.
Thank you, Fantagraphics.
Her artwork is black and white. And
amazing.
Yeah,
it's realistic.
It's a different style.
Yes, but it's her style too. Yeah. All of her books have the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She draws people really well, and emotion, and the way they move and everything. Mm-hmm. She does it really well, and it's an enjoyable to look at.
Even though it's like a horror.
Yes, so Vision's a freaky story. You start out with, do you know this character's name? I do not remember her name. Eleanor.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Yes, because on the second page, Eleanor. It's the brother calling, or the sister-in-law calling. So what it is you've got Eleanor. This takes place, and it looks like it would be maybe late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, it says 19th century.
It does say 19th century?
Yep.
Where'd you see that?
In my
in what you read?
Yep.
Okay, so it's the 1800s, probably later 1800s.
Do you love the moths on the first page?
Yes.
After the title page?
Yeah,
I really love
she
that.
does this black and white
She's
artwork
extremely
really well.
talented artist.
That's awesome. And what you've got is Eleanor.
Well, the first page. Let's just start at the first page.
Mm-hmm. On page one?
There's the speech bubble. Yep. There's a speech bubble that says, "Look at you." All you see is the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
You see the bed in the first panel, in the second panel, and it's just a speech bubble. You don't really know who's talking, where the voice is coming from.
Right.
And then
is it in her head? I mean, you don't know. You don't know where it's coming from. Am I allowed?
No, you don't want me to say what it is.
No, you can. I think you can.
I thought it was in the thing, but now that I think about it, it wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You find out,
and she's sitting there, and there's this voice is saying
she's sitting on the floor, and then you're guessing on that first page who's talking. Look at you, just look at you. You're stunning, perfect, truly.
And she shows emotion, like she turns, like she's blushing.
Yeah, she's blushing, and then the speech bubble from her. Then you can see this. So it's not that the speech bubbles aren't given direction. Like
right
now we realize, okay, so somebody is saying something to her, but the speech bubble isn't. Well, that's because it's a haunted mirror.
Yes, and they show the mirror. The mirror is shown in several panels, and it looks like. But there's nothing.
It's
in
just
the
a mirror.
It's just
there's nothing. There's no image in the mirror.
No,
or anything.
Exactly.
But it's telling her how beautiful she is, and and then we should probably. This is before we get too far into it. This is a horror.
Yeah,
thing. So
adult too. I mean,
it's adult. It tells her to take off her clothes and.
Yeah, so the mirror's haunted, and she's living in this house, which you find out was her parents' house. And her brother must own the house now, I'm assuming. Her brother and sister-in-law live there, and the sister-in-law is sick. She may be dying. And Eleanor is taking
Was it her parents' house? I don't remember that part.
Well, the bed was theirs. Whether the house was, I don't know, but the bed is. I mean, it could be that the bed was, but I'm thinking it's the whole house.
Okay. I guess I messed
later on the brother says something about the bed. And the parent and the watching mother in there or something like that.
Could he have been talking about his wife though?
Mm-mm. No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Because the story ends very funky. So, and that's why.
Will there be more?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to go when we get to that part. Remind me.
But so basically, she's getting yelled. That's why her name comes up, Eleanor, because the sister-in-law is calling her, and or is it him?
The sister-in-law is bedridden,
right? And it's the brother calling, and he's like, "You're wanted in the sick room."
The sick room.
Yeah. So she goes and she takes care of the sick sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law,
who also doesn't really like her either.
I don't know if it's that she doesn't like her or if she's just miserable because she's sick.
She's sick, yeah, dying something. But I don't know if she doesn't like her, doesn't trust her, or something.
And there's some medical stuff here. Is this a needle going in the arm?
Yeah,
too?
I'm not sure what it is.
I thought there was some self-harm, but I think there is some self-harm in the book.
There is some self-harm in the book. There is later. But basically, you're going just.
And then she's taking care of her. Like, she jumps, right? She's being called and she jumps to go take care of her. And then she's like, "Did you poison me?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. She doesn't trust her. That's why I say it. She doesn't trust her.
Okay. But I think that's part of being sick too, you know?
Yes.
If she's sick
being
and bedridden,
delusional. And
you don't leave your room. And
so she's...
oh, yeah. We don't get far before the self-harm comes.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it goes back... The story is about... It's really about Eleanor, and she's taking care of her sister-in-law and her brother, really. Yeah.
I will not ever understand how the brother is not taking care of his own wife.
I don't know. But, yeah.
That's probably how it was then, I guess.
But there's that, and there's
not a man's job.
There's this magic mirror, and
it's not magic. It's haunted.
Haunted, yes.
And I know. I don't think it really said. I don't think it specifies anywhere whether it's haunted or magic.
And then there's later on in the story, Eleanor goes out. Does she go to the store or something? And she runs into this. Oh
yeah, she's running an errand.
Oh, and also there's the mirror. The mirror is haunted and telling her to touch herself and things like that. I mean, there's like several pages of this whole thing going on.
But I mean, could it be her hallucinating and just?
I don't know, but
I guess not, because at one point it.
Yeah, and the sister-in-law doesn't trust her, and she's taking care of her, and she may be hallucinating. There's all kinds of things going on. But yeah, I was saying she goes out and she meets this man who she ends up riding back in a carriage with, back to her house, and he's a doctor, right?
She goes to the doctor.
Because
I'm lost. Did you skip ahead a lot?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 books to do.
Okay.
We're not going to read.
I know we're not going to read the whole book, but you know me, I like to go over the details.
No, I know. I don't want to.
She goes to the doctor's office because she found her sister with her like nightgown wide open, or her sister-in-law with her nightgown wide open. She's thinking there's something weird going on, and she said something to her brother, and her brother's like, "Go to the doctor and get some good meds."
Right. That's right.
So she goes to the doctor, get the good meds, and ends up having herself checked out. She's got a cataract issue. And I thought that they said, this is confusing to me. I swear that he said, she says she doesn't want to do anything until after, her sister-in-law's feeling better, because she doesn't want to,
do you have time for me to couch it? He says to her. And he ends up like slitting her eyeball open. He
like jams this.
I don't. It's just crazy. Like, to fix the cataract, and okay. But
it's not
there's
even
pages of this stuff, and she's blacked out because she can't see and everything, and then it's just pages, pages of black panels, just to show that she's just sitting there for a long time.
It's not just to show that. It's. I mean, it creates this moment,
right?
And I mean, I don't think it, I mean, you make it seem like it's not like just a black panel. She scribbled these panels black.
Oh yeah.
It is very intentional. Each one is different.
Yes, they are.
To sit there in that pain, to be imagining that probe in your eyeball. And so I very deliberately looked at each panel.
Really?
I know you probably just slid past all
of them, yeah.
But I thought it was really important to look at it and to think about it, and that really gets you in the feel of the.
And that style comes back later in the story too.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I mean, she ends up riding back in the carriage with this guy at some point, and he wants to date her and all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's stuff going on, and I think he's a perverted old man, because I don't think she's that old, actually.
Well, her husband is dead, right? She's already been married.
I don't remember that, but you said that, so I think that's true.
But the mirror gets angry.
The mirror gets angry because of this other man, right?
Is it because of the other man, or is it because she's not paying enough attention. I don't know.
Something. It's yeah. So I mean, stuff goes on. There's all kinds of stuff, and it cracks. Right.
Yep.
The mirror cracks, and she crawls into the mirror. I mean, just this whole crazy.
It's
sequence.
very.
It's long, and eventually she gets like spit out by the mirror. I don't know if she has sex with the mirror or the person in the mirror or what. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, we should stop there. We shouldn't really get into too much details, but all kinds of stuff going on. And
well, and she starts drinking, and yeah, it's pretty interesting too.
But it's a good book. It really is a good book, and I really love her style. She does seem to like this these older tales. These time periods. She likes to draw these older carriages and beds and furniture and stuff like that.
So you don't want to go into what happens okay, so you want to be done there. All right.
No, I think it's something that people need to read. It's really good though.
You do need to read. You're missing out if you're just going to listen to the podcast about it. You definitely need to.
The vision is really good. But we've got one more, another book by Julia, and do the intro music again for the second book for the review. But this is also by Julia Gfrorer, called Laid Waste.
A supernaturally strong medieval widow must now decide how to use her powers in this graphic novel. In a plague-ravaged medieval city, survival is a harsher fate than death. As corpses accumulate around her, Agnes, a young widow possessed of supernatural strength, must weigh her obligations to the dead and dying against her desire to protect what little remains. Laid Waste is a graphic novella about love and kindness among vermin in the putrid miasma at the end of the world. As with her evocative debut book, Black is the Color, Julia Gfrorer's delicate Gothic drawing style perfectly complements the period era of the book's setting, bringing the lyricism and romanticism of her prose to the fore.
Okay, honestly, I don't see where she's supernatural.
I was wondering that myself.
I don't see anything that shows this character Agnes as being supernatural. I mean,
she doesn't get sick, I guess.
She doesn't get sick. This is like during the Black Plague,
and she doesn't get sick, and she has close contact with all those sick. So maybe that's
part
of
what
the
it is.
Supernaturalness she has.
Yeah, but this other character that she's hanging out with, he doesn't get sick, and his wife dies, and his baby dies too, doesn't it?
I think he does get sick. Doesn't it show
his hands?
Oh, you know what? No, she gets sick too, though. She has. That's toward the end.
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
No, she doesn't.
She's
just laying in there. She's not sick.
Let me see it.
But yeah, so it again, it depicts the era fantastic. I mean, the characters and the way they look, and the detail in her drawing, it's really good. And what are you looking for?
I'm looking for. I have this.
I know there's some pictures of his hands. I'm sure that's what you're thinking about.
Yes, I saw that too. But here, where the plague doctor comes in.
Oh yeah.
The plague doctor, is that hers too? We discussed this. Okay, that's somebody else's. I don't know if it's Agnes that he's talking to, but the plague doctor says that there's sores on the back of your neck where you can't see them.
Yeah, that's somebody else.
Is it somebody else? I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Plague doctor. Plague doctor is a medical physician that treated victims of the bubonic plague.
Uh-huh.
So I'm guessing that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's not.
Because it just says. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't actually ever say.
I mean, I called it the Black Plague, but I mean, it's probably the same thing.
Yeah. But it doesn't say like it's the plague. It just says.
Right, but you could tell they
have the plague doctor. I mean.
Yes, wearing the mask, the big long beak, which they believed would help keep the disease away from them, I believe.
Yes, I think so.
But there's like giant pits dug where they're putting bodies of dead people.
Well, because so many people are dying.
Yes. Like, it's and you read this and it reminds you
it was
now.
I mean, we're not
New York City in earlier this year or earlier in 2020 when they were so many people were dying, and they were just loading, frozen trailers,
Yeah.
refrigerated trailers with these bodies because there was no place to put them.
Can you imagine? I mean, I'm sure our listeners know people that have died
Yeah.
during this. We've been extremely lucky in that I don't know anybody in our personal life who's died. We do have a few friends who've gotten sick, but they've all luckily recovered.
Mhm.
I don't think any of our friends have gotten seriously ill, have they?
I don't believe so, no.
That I can think of.
My one friend and his wife both had it. They were sick for a couple weeks, but
I
they
mean,
both got over
went
it,
to the
too.
hospital
Yeah.
sick. But yeah, I mean,
Everybody's gotten over it that we know, and there was one death at my
at work,
but that was
And
early
it
on.
wasn't
It was
somebody
like
you knew,
it was
though,
in
right?
March.
It was really
So
early
it was-
on,
it
and
was
you guys
early
have
on,
been
yeah.
really lucky with
Oh.
considering how many people get on your buses without. Anyway, we're
Yeah.
getting way off track here, but anyhow, okay, so the book again. I feel like we have to talk about her artwork. I know you were talking about it already, but
Yeah, it's beautiful.
it's so amazing.
Mhm.
She's such a gifted artist.
Mhm.
And then, like you said, it fits really well in the time that I assume
yeah.
that she has a passion for this time period.
Yes, I think so too. Well, I mean,
which makes sense.
I bought this book directly from her off her Etsy site.
Oh, okay.
And she sent it with a little card, and the card has a nice drawing of a guillotine. I mean, it's beautiful. But it's a beautiful picture. I mean,
there's T-shirts and stuff on there, huh? On that
Yeah.
Etsy page. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'll have to check that out.
But yeah,
That's
so I mean,
cool.
and the story is just, it's got Agnes, the main character, and she's just.
I mean, it starts out with her holding a baby in her arms.
Mhm. Yeah, that part I don't get. I don't know. I think I miss how that fits in. I don't know if that's what comes back around at the end.
Well, I think it does come back, but I think that she's dreaming here.
Okay, that's possible.
She's dreaming that her baby is still alive.
Okay, right.
Because then she comes
right.
out running and asks,
Where the
wait,
baby? Yeah,
where's
no, you're
Agnes?
right. I remember that.
Is Agnes the baby as well?
No, I think you're
Because
right.
she comes running out and says, "Where's Agnes?" And this person says, "In the churchyard, of course."
Yeah, buried.
And the baby is buried. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then she, her sister dies, or her sister's sick and she dies, and she meets a neighbor who his wife is dying too, and they're friends, and they end up, consoling each other sexually, and at the end of the book,
the rats too. That was kind
the
of
rats. Yeah. Well, the rats and the wild dogs, because the people are dying and they're just throwing them in these. They're not throwing them. Some of them are.
I mean, they're
putting them in a pit that they're eventually going to either burn or cover up.
Some people would burn their dead ones. They walked out and the neighbors were burning their parents, I think it said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's
they do talk about her being a saint. She's laying with her
Yeah.
sister who's very sick, and she says, "Do you remember when you had that the vision of Saint Catherine?" So no, it was just a vision, just an ordinary dream, silly girl. Didn't she kiss you on your pure brow and promise to protect you? So that's the superpower. She's
Okay,
protected or she's a saint, or she's protected by the saint.
And maybe she is. Maybe that's why she doesn't get sick.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's very possible. That's the little part of the story.
When so many are dying, you've never been in the least bit sick.
Yeah.
So it makes me an ox, she says.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she doesn't realize that she's really supernatural. Maybe that's the thing.
That could be. Do you pray for a new husband every day? And more children? But
that's what she says, right?
Yeah.
So for a new husband, so apparently her husband's dead too.
Yes, and then shows her carrying out her sister,
her dead sister, but like just carrying her over her shoulder, right?
Yes.
Like, I was wondering about that. I mean, I'm sure the sister had withered down to nothing at that point, but still, I mean, who's gonna? Even the bones have to be pretty heavy to carry. Then she just tosses her over her shoulder and carries her out to the churchyard.
I mean, it's not. It doesn't look like she's doing it with ease necessarily, but she does carry her a little ways. I mean, 2 pages of carrying her across the town. But then, the neighbor comes. and you find out that they have a baby, and the baby's sick, and the baby's barely moving anymore, and I mean, so it's a pretty dark story.
It is a dark story, which it was a dark time. I mean, again, no different than 2020 and into early 21. Hopefully, it doesn't go deep into 21. Although I think it's going to be at least 6 months of this.
Yeah.
I was just telling you today that Dr. Fauci is saying now, it could be up to 80, 85, 90% vaccine.
I didn't quite understand
coverage.
What you were going.
Well, he said that when people were doubting the whole COVID thing, he tried to keep the number low, saying that when they get a vaccine, maybe 70% of people would have to get it. But now that more people,
he was saying that
he was keeping the number low so people
wouldn't,
because people wouldn't believe him. But now that the numbers of people are listening to about the vaccine,
so he's just trying to cover his ass. He probably really did think it was 70%, but
maybe. But it's gone up to the point now where he thinks it could
90%. There's no way 90% of people are going to be getting vaccinated.
We'll be lucky if 50% of.
That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. There's just so many people that that don't even believe that it's real. Still, even though over 300,000 people have died in this country alone.
Has 45 gotten a vaccine yet?
He doesn't need one. He's immune to everything.
Okay. Pence got one, right?
Pence got one, right?
I know Biden did too.
Biden did, correct. But yeah, so this it just fits this story. Like reads really,
and
really well now.
And it came out in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and she's baking bread. And it just reminds me of the beginning of this podcast.
Of COVID, yeah.
Beginning of COVID, all these people who were staying home, everybody started making sourdough.
Sourdough, yeah.
Everybody started making bread. And so there's like 2 whole pages there of her making bread and doing the yeast and then kneading the bread and
kneading it.
Yeah, it was a really interesting couple pages, and several 10 panels of her making bread. And it just made me think of the beginning of the pandemic when all these people were making bread for the first time.
Right.
But yeah, definitely a good book. If you're sensitive to kind of, and especially during this time, I'm sure more people are a little more hesitant to read stuff like this that kind of, even though it was written in 2016, it just feels really, really current.
I mean, that in a couple of years, there's going to be movies, there's going to be books, there's going to be all kinds of stuff coming out about this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already been specials about this whole kind of thing going on. But
right.
There's going to be a lot of this stuff coming up. But this book.
I hope she's seen a boost in sales based on the current climate, I guess.
Yeah. I definitely. But Julia Gfrorer, Laid Waste and Vision, 2 great books, both of them from Fantagraphics.
And you said Laid Waste you got on her Etsy shop. Do you have a link to her Etsy name or a plug or anything?
No.
Did you search her name maybe?
Where's the thing?
Oh,
it's on there.
Sorry. Thorazos.threadless.com. THORAZOS.threadless.com. And she sounds like a bunch of other t-shirts and other merch stuff too.
Yeah, but if you go to Etsy, you can find her.
Probably, you just search her name on Etsy, or the title of the book, so you should be able to find it there.
Definitely.
Anything else?
No.
Think of anything else?
I think we're good. Until next time, my name is Mike.
And I'm Parker.
And this is Graphic
Novel Podcast.
I think we did that exactly the same.
I tried to copy you.